You already know what it is, what it do. Shout out to our boy Marcus. New show premiere right before us on A2D Radio, but you already know what it is. It's A2D, Birds of a Feather. Let go.
Let's go. This ain't the fuck like he forces this game, he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, brought to you by none other than Fan Up. Fan Up is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, which is a $50 value. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to us on your commute, thank you. We appreciate you. It's your boy Chuck's here. And to my left, as always, we got Mr. Pete Evans. What's going on, bro? Nope. Can I hear you? Hold on. Can anyone not hear him? Let's see. Hold on. I can't hear him.
Hold up. No worries. That's my
there
fault.
you go. I was
Rookie
like,
mistake. Turn your mic on, Peter.
wasn't sure if it was me or
No, that was me. It was me. But no. So what I was saying was, we're about to get some more snow. I'm happy to be here. Yes, Brian, I know I'm muted. Watch the game, sir. Happy hours old, Brian Daly. But no, yeah, man. I can't remember the last time we had snow on the ground from this past weekend. We got another expected snow coming in, 3 to 6 inches. Everybody be safe out there. Take your time getting there. And let's prep for a game. We're gonna do a lot. We're gonna hit a lot tonight. Poll question is what it is. We're not talking about it right now. We'll get to it. And Chuck's lead us off, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we got a lot to get to. Guys, we're in the playoffs. We are going to recap what a journey it's been this regular season. We're going to talk not only about the victory against the Washington football team, but the season as a whole, the journey that we've been on and the road we got to get to the playoffs. We'll talk about that in the first quarter, which is brought to you by eXp Realty LLC. Contact Alan Foy at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. And then in our second quarter, guys, we will talk about a specific someone who I think deserves a lot of credit for the team's success this year. Might not be someone that you think right off the bat, but we all love him, Mr. Jason Kelce. We're going to talk about him in the second quarter and talk about not only his importance to this team this season, but where does he rank among the all-time Eagles greats? Let's talk about that later on in the second quarter. That'll be our poll question. The third quarter, we are going to go around the NFL, around the league as we usually do, touch on a bunch of other topics. We've got some playoff implications still on the line this upcoming week. So who do we think is going to get in? Who's going to be left out? We'll talk about that. We'll do some playoff predictions. And in the fourth and final quarter, we'll give a little preview to the Eagles-Cowboys. Not much, because I know there's nothing really much to talk about. There's no implications for us, so not really that important of a game. But we will touch on it a little bit before we close off the show with No Huddle. But our first topic, as I said at the top of the show, the Eagles 2021 season. Let's talk about the Washington game first. Okay. Let's talk about that first. Quick thoughts. I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory in terms of pretty direct in terms of, hey, slow start again, especially for the defense, a little bit of the offense, but then second half, different story. So, Pete, what are your main takeaways from the game against Washington? And we asked this last week about concerns about the slow starts. Do you have those concerns still, or do you think that they're going to iron this out?
Well, I think it was last week, so the first time we were back together. And hats off, Happy New Year, everyone. 2022.
Happy New Year, yes.
I still find myself thinking I'm in 2021, still referring to 2020. These fucking years as you get older just fly by. I swear to God. I think we were talking about the poll question was, has the Eagles succeeded expectations already? So for me, I can give two shits less about the slow starts, bro. Like, listen, everything right now for me personally, I can only speak for myself, is house fucking money. Never thought we would be here to this point. You're a team who made the playoffs a week before the season even actually ends. You've already clinched. I don't give a shit what position it is. Your team is already ahead of schedule. I'm not expecting this team. I'm expecting slow starts. The games get bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously, Saturday is a little bit different. We say that now, and when the kickoff happens, they'll probably end up playing on Wild Card Night on Saturday night next week. And we'll get into it as far as what the matchup will be. You'll see that. I'm pretty sure that'd be beaten into the ground. But I sit here right now and say, listen, I don't care about the slow starts because guess what? We're going to have another slow start. Guess what? We're playing the third week in January. The third weekend in January, the Eagles will be playing playoff football. And guess what? We still have 3 picks in the first round in our fucking back pocket. 4 picks in the top 60. 4 picks in the top 60. So what this tells you is give credit where the credit is due. Howie Roseman stumbled into one again, built the team, caught lightning in a bottle, maybe hired the right fucking guy, and listen, I don't give a shit what everybody says. He probably hired the right DC as well. Yes, I'm going to stand on the hill and say Jonathan Gannon is the right DC. It may not look like what you want it to look like. Who gives a shit? Because they still win. They won 9 games. They may be on the verge of winning double digits. I don't care. It gets results. You look around the league, you tell me another defensive guy you want to replace him with. I can't think of anybody. So let's just run it back. None of these guys are proven like Frank Reich and Doug Peterson was. I don't see this group of guys leaving. You see what I'm saying? I just see our coaching becoming better on both sides of the ball with Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. And guess what? We've said it since the preseason, Chucks. With those 3 first-round picks, go get me some studs on defense. And then we'll see how many people will be really slob-knobbing Jonathan Gannon this time next year because he really will be a head coaching candidate. You see what I'm saying? So I'm good. I'm great. I'm luxurious over here because I've already said it. I did not expect them to be here in the first place. I wasn't expecting that to be here. So now that we're here, seize the opportunity. Now, if the opportunity presents itself, we play better on the road for some reason. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. The game's not here. The playoff game, the wild card weekend, to be somewhere on the road. And if you not see how the railing fell on my man on Sunday, right? Yeah, this is the first time I called Jalen Hurts my man. I'm on the wagon now. I'm on the train. My man slid to the side and said, y'all all right? Let's go ahead and get this picture. But I don't give a shit. That's the one thing I would say. You have everything blending together now with Jalen to the point where you're starting to see more progress on the field. But the poise and the calm, he exudes that. He exudes that now. So I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Like rest in peace, Sir Scott. I'm cool like the other side of the pillow, man. I'm straight. Like I said, I don't care about the slow starts, man. Just the fact that we got more starts. Think about that. Yeah. Think about that. There's 18 other teams that still, let alone had their last game to play this weekend. There's 18 other teams where that's it. Sunday is it. We have one more. That should be what's being preached right now. We have one more. Let's keep trying to have one more. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Are we going to be sad when the season is over? Yeah, because the season is over. But guess what? The way this shit is working out now, NFL is a full year. We'll start talking about the draft. And you know me and Chucks, if you've been rocking with us for a while, we love the draft season. We love the draft season. Live in the moment. Don't have any expectations. Don't get too high. Don't get too low because guess what? We got 3 first-round picks, 4 in the top 64. This team is going to get better. And my man said it to me the other day. Shout out to Aaron, who used to do the show with me back in the day. He says, build around him like you built around 5. Build around him like you did around 5. Stud defense, keep building it, keep yourself in game, strong running game, see where this team can go. And because, listen, Washington, who knows? They're going to not announce their name on February 2nd. I feel sorry for my mom. My mom's birthday is February 2nd, and she got to deal with this shit. They want to announce some dumbass name and make a big deal about it, right? God. But the Giants are the Giants. These teams that were supposed to be ahead of us, we're ahead of them already, and with more resources to build. It's already pretty much a guarantee that Russell Wilson's going to the Giants.
No, I won't say that. I still won't say that. I will not admit to that.
I started the shit I'm hearing about Sierra and how she's moving to New York, how she's pushing this shit. She wants to do all this daytime talk show shit, and she's trying to get. And Russell Wilson, believe it or not, is on I wouldn't say twilight of his career, but he's back end of his career. I mean, he's been in the league now 10 years. You know what I mean? People forget that. He's what, 30, even though he's 32, 33 years old, he's been in the league 10 years. Go to the Giants. I don't give a shit. We're still going to beat you. I don't care. But the Eagles are still, even with Russell Wilson, the Eagles will be a better team than the New York Giants. Yeah, I said it. I said it. So I'm not concerned with Washington. And Dallas, for whatever reason, Dallas is being Dallas right now towards the end of this year. I don't know why. And Mike McCarthy mismanaging games. I say that to say this team right now, if Jalen Hurts is the guy, truly the guy, you may be on an early 2000-esque ascent to the top of the NFC East and one of the top teams in the NFC for years to come.
Very bold statement.
It is, but you can't discount what we've seen. And we were 2 of the people on this platform that have been the hardest on the team. Didn't really see where it would be coming from. And the numbers don't lie. Like I said, it may not look pretty. It may not be winning the games you want to see how and win, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But at the end of the day, a W is a W. You see what I'm saying? A W is a W. So we'll see. And they've been vanilla all year. We've been saying this, especially on defense. They've been vanilla all year because of the fact of they don't have the talent to do. They don't have the talent to run crazy schemes for somebody to get there. And we'll allude to it, but our poll question is one of the reasons why that dude is in that poll question is because he gives you the flexibility to be able to do exotic shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't have the tools and the horses on defense to do exotic shit. And sometimes what people want to see in this fan base and how they don't want to see an 8-yard pass get completed against the zone when the other offense knows what's coming. You want to do exotic shit, you better have exotic fucking players on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, please, God. Please, God.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to have that. And you don't have that. But guess what? You're a playoff team with 3 first-round picks. If the Colts lose, then they may have 3 picks in the top 20. You see what I'm saying? And you don't know. You've seen how drafts play out. Draft boards play out. This is not a quarterback-rich draft. Teams may start getting trigger happen. They may start reaching, and talent that's in the top half of the draft may start to fall to you. How we just capitalize, let it come in, soak it in, and just bring the team back and let's rock.
Absolutely. A lot you covered there. Well, let me say this first. In terms of the Washington game, I'm not worried about the slow starts either because I think it is what it is. I don't want to try to find an answer for it, nor do I care. A win is a win, and just because we've had them past 3 games doesn't mean we're going to have them. We're going to continue having playoffs. So we'll see. But I want to first shout out. You mentioned in not too long ago. I want to give a shout out again, and this is the second week we're giving him praise, but I'm going to give him praise because it's warranted. I think Jonathan Gannon did a great job in the second half, adjusting and making the necessary changes to make sure we shut down Washington in the second half. They scored nothing. So I think it's just I want to lead off with that because there's still a lot of people you go through the first half, you go on social media, You go on chat rooms. Everyone, like most people are screaming, fire Gannon. Like get
First
rid of him.
series.
He doesn't know what
First series. First down.
It's
Stand this guy.
Anything. It's crazy. Like
sunglasses on. It's not even hot out. It's not even sunny
yeah,
outside.
even A2D. They posted the meme of him like during the first half, and it was like with him in sunglasses, like face of a guy doesn't know what he's doing. And okay, so first half comes by, second half comes, and we completely shut him out. And no one wants to give him credit. No one's talking about Gannon. That same energy in the first half wasn't matched in the second half because Gannon and the defense was doing a good job. Gannon was, and if you want to know X's and O's wise what he was doing, one, he started playing more. He started matching up Slay against McLaurin one-on-one, shadowing him more. He also started to mix up the fronts and started going to more different fronts to create more pressure. Not necessarily blitzes, but just different packages, zone exchanges, stuff like that. So because by themselves, the D-line by themselves wasn't getting pressure in the first half. So he created one with the linebackers. So and that's another thing. Hey, defensive line not getting pressure in the first half. That's the highest paid unit on the team, and they're not getting pressure. I mean, but anyways, Gannon deserves credit. Again, we say it almost every week. Me and you feel like me and you are like one of the only defenders of Gannon on this station, in this company. So we're gonna say it. Credit to Gannon.
Yep.
To piggyback off what you said though, like Hurts, another impressive outing. Sirianni, another impressive outing. I don't have anything to complain about them when it comes to Washington. Now, like in terms of the whole season, it's been, I think me and you, I don't want to say sit pretty. Like I don't want to say, because like I'm not saying that we were right the whole time.
Time out, real quick before you go. B_Blade_God 2010 says, I hear what you're saying, but dog, listen, I don't give a fuck how the game play out, right? If I tell you they beat beat Washington 20-16, they gave us 16 points. You give a shit what it looks like. Yeah. It's 16 points.
And you're saying we lose the game if McLeod didn't catch the ball. Like you can go to almost every game around the league in every week, and there's always but if this doesn't happen, this team loses. If this doesn't happen, this team wins. Like you can't play that. The fact of the matter is, we won. McLeod did get the interception, and you're assuming that Washington would have scored a touchdown if McLeod didn't get that pick. Who's to say that if McLeod didn't get a pick, that the Eagles defense still wouldn't have stopped them?
And the
like you're jumping to conclusions,
right?
Like,
and the main thing we want to make clear is we're not blowing Jonathan Gannon. We just feel like he is getting unjustly criticized for not having enough talent. Chuck just said it. He said the defensive line is the highest paid unit on the team, and they were not getting pressure with their front four. I would tell you, out of the linebackers, overplayed their value. Darius Slay overplayed his value. The defensive line as a whole has not played up to the value that they've been paid. If you want to talk numbers, they have not given you consistent pressure all year. So yes, maybe Jonathan Gannon should have made adjustments in the first half. Maybe he should have, or maybe the fucking players just need to get better. It's as simple as that. Yeah. There's a reason why you look at every other draft chart and what the Eagles team's needs are, and defensive end is up there, and defensive line is up there. There's a reason, because the guys that are here are not getting it done consistently. He can't make up for that. All right, I'm sorry. As you were.
No, it's the truth. And like, he says that, B-Blade says it sounds like we're blowing them. Well, the thing is, it's because I constantly see people online want this guy fired. We talked last week. Our topic was, does he deserve more credit, because his name was mentioned as a possible head coach candidate, and Eagles Twitter blew up saying, "Wow, really? Like, let him go. Right. He sucks." You still get people saying he sucks. People want him gone. That's why I'm bringing it up, because do you have that? The team is winning also because of the defense, yet it's always about, Sirianni did this, Hurts did that. They're improving, but Gannon doesn't get the same credit.
Right.
That doesn't seem fair, and that's why we bring it up. And you talk about the lack of a D-line. So I showed you, Pete. Benjamin Solak tweeted his thoughts on, someone had asked him what his thoughts on Gannon were, and he pretty much said, like, Gannon doesn't have anyone to blitz with. He doesn't have a Darius Leonard. He doesn't have a Fred Warner. He doesn't have those guys in the middle who can blitz at linebacker or at safety. Like people always, what was the topic last week when I talked about it? Like I said that this fan base has an unhealthy obsession with blitzing. Who do you want to blitz with? We don't have any good blitzers.
You wanted to see a blitz and not be effective? Because that's essentially what would happen.
Yeah. So we have Avery who's solid. He's a solid blitzer. That's it. Like there's no one who excels at blitzing. Yeah. So you want to blitz with a team, a unit that doesn't have a good blitzer or doesn't have good blitzers all around. And then also, I need to bring this up too. What was one of the things that was a big detriment to the past regime, especially Schwartz? We were always saying he never developed young talent. Mm-hmm. What is happening with this defense and the young players? Avonte Maddox. You've got TJ Edwards. You got Josh Sweat. You've got Jannard Avery. You've got other guys playing. Darius Slay also, who is having another
not young,
but he's doing much better than last year. Yeah, doing much better than last year. All these guys who are playing much better in this system. Does Gannon not deserve credit? Everyone wants to slam the scheme and say it's a bad scheme, yet we have players who are playing so much better under that scheme as opposed to Jim Schwartz. Yep. So which is it? It doesn't make sense to me.
I just don't know what people want to see, bro.
Yeah, he's not a top tier defensive coordinator yet. Like I'm not saying he is, okay, and I'm not even guaranteeing that he will be. All I'm saying is there's too much disrespect thrown his way. That's why bring up. But back to what I was saying about like the season as a whole. Yep. Season as a whole, man. Like me and you here, we sit pretty because beginning of the year we were on the same page that we don't really have expectations. Like we knew this was going to be a rough season in terms of growing pains. So the young team, young coach. We're the youngest coaching staff in the league. Average age was 36. So we knew this was going to be a process. And in the middle of the season, early in the season, when things were going bad, everyone was saying, fire this guy, Hurts sucks, blah, blah, blah. This player sucks, the team sucks. Me and you were saying,
give it time.
Patience. You got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait. And look what happened. Like, over the NFL season, even though it is only 4 or 5 calendar years out of the year, it's a long year in terms of things can change over the course of a season so drastically. And what we've seen is this team grow before our eyes and become something that we did not expect in terms of they're a running team. They are a dominant running team. They are the most dominant run team in the league. And when we run the ball and impose our will, there's no team that really can really stop us.
Yeah.
So
when's the last time? Like, do you feel like, and this is crazy. This is outlandish for me to say, but if you really just take a step back and think about it, even after 2017 and 2018, when we had to parade down Broad Street, do you feel as if that team had an identity? Did you feel as if that team had a mode of consistency that you felt as if when they took the field the next year that they had something that they can rely on, that they had that core identity? I didn't feel that. And the reason why I didn't feel that, because I didn't know what it felt like until I saw Jalen. And I say this when I'm talking about the Eagles right now, I feel like they're building a culture. And the one thing about Jalen Hurts I can say is the type of leader that he is you put that with Kelce, you're not going to let that falter. So now, and the difference is as well, when we did that in 2017 and 2018, we didn't have a lot of younger players on their first contracts or first or second year. Now you got younger players who are now, this is all they know in the NFL. They know this. They know Sirianni. They know this scheme from the coaching staff all the way down to the backups. They know what it's like to play Eagles type of football. And now I feel like we're starting to build that identity tough, hard-nosed football with a tough, hard-nosed coach. But don't get it twisted. If he looks like he has the prospect to go ahead and beat you with the pass and take big shot plays, he will. So I feel like this team now is building something more than what, even when we were at the precipice, at the mountaintop, at the peak, when we won the Super Bowl, I still feel as if this team now, I have more confidence going forward into next year. And that may also have something to do with, I haven't even talked about the cap space that they're going to have. They can go out and get free agents. And we talked about the first round picks, but when you look at the cap space, you look at where this team is, I bet money motherfuckers gonna want to come play here.
Absolutely.
People gonna want to come play here next year. They're gonna want to come play here because they got cap space, they got first round picks, and they made the playoffs. But supposedly, I think we saw that we had put it out on A2D social somewhere. It was like the 20 or the 28th worst roster in the league, if I'm not mistaken. It's like in the bottom 4, if I'm not mistaken. You see what I'm saying? So everything that you talk about when we look at the season as a whole, like you said, I really can't find anything. I will say this though. I said it before. You gotta find a way to feed DeVonta. I don't give a shit what it is. I'm tired of seeing this kid get a catch 1 out of every 5, 10, 15 snaps. What I feel as if, I mean, let's call a spade, bro. I got Jamar Chase out there fucking catching 6 balls for 220 and 3 touchdowns.
So good.
He's good because you know what? Not only just because his O-line is the Cincinnati O-line is nowhere near as good as the Eagles O-line. Obviously,
nowhere near as good. There's still
obviously Joe Burrow is better than Jalen Hurts. Skill positions, obviously Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon, probably better complemented players than what we have. But what they do in Cincy is they give Chase opportunities. And I'm not saying I don't know what's going on with DeVonta. I kind of want Sirianni to be like, listen, if they play a series on Saturday, just go to DeVonta 3 times in a row. I just want to see what happens because I feel like that's when, if you do that and you're successful at that, that's going to open it up for Jalen Reagor more. That's going to open up for Quez Watkins more. That's going to open up for Goddard more. Now, obviously, that's not your identity. I'm just saying, listen, I just wish we need to start feeding this dude like he's a number 1 receiver. Because now I hear people talking about bringing in another wide receiver, maybe like a Chris Godwin or somebody like that in the offseason, and having DeVonta be a number 2. Which I didn't draft you number 10 overall to be a number 2. Not at all. That wasn't the plan. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I hear. And to that, though, what I'll say is with DeVonta, like even with Chase, he's getting all this. Look at the talent around him. He's got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. So more talent is going to necessarily be bad. And we have to just remember, like, oftentimes this wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 thing, it gets kind of lost in translation. Like, we term those in terms of like, okay, this wide receiver is the better talent. This wide receiver is the go-to guy. He's the best out of the group. The second one is the next best guy, so on and so forth. But oftentimes when you talk to coaches, like they're not looking at it like, okay, it's all the time. This guy is always the first read. And this wide receiver is always the second read. He's always the third read. Like, it's not like that all the time. Yeah, they have plays designed specifically for certain players. No, absolutely. But it's not like every single play call or passing play, it's always like the progression is always this guy, then this guy, then this guy. There are some play designs where they might be the first read, but based on what the defense shows or defense does, you have to adjust your read and go to a different guy. That's why, having that surrounding talent, even around DeVonta, even if he is our best receiver, you still need talent around him. We still need to get that second or even third. I mean, I like Quez. I think he can develop into a good wide receiver 3. But, even if not, you get 2 more wide receivers in here to make life easier for
Look at Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp plays out of the slot, and he's number 1 wide receiver on the Rams. Stats wise, he may be the number 1 wide receiver in the league. He's not my number 1 wide receiver in the league. My number 1 wide receiver in the league is fucking in Green Bay right now. He's God. Jesus.
Him and Aaron are like otherworldly.
I feel like I'm watching Yoda and Luke. That's what I'm watching. Obi-Wan and Luke. It's talking like this telepathically. they hit you with the same shit. I'm watching that game and I'm like, this, like, they don't even have to say anything to each other, bro.
Do you know? Have you seen the dancers, the Lay twins, the French dancers? And like they're always they know each other. Like
yes,
they'll know each other's moves. Like when one does something, the other, that's what it is. It feels like they don't communicate by talking. They just know.
They just know.
Like, it's crazy.
Bro,
it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
It's ridiculous, man. Yeah. I've never seen two people be on the same wavelength to where the back shoulder looks effortless. But that's what I'm talking about. There was a point in that game on Sunday, right, against the Vikings. Now the Vikings were depleted on offense because they didn't have Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
they didn't trust Kellen Mond, so they had Sean Mannion out there. But there was a point in that game, the series that DeVonta scored the touchdown, they went to him 4 times out of 5. And it wasn't always on the outside. It was in the slot. It was on the outside. It was near side. It was far side. Different formations. That's what I'm saying. Even with the complemented talent that the Green Bay has on offense, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Monte Valdez-Scantling, MVS. It's easy for me to say that because I butcher his name. Alan Lazard. You see what I'm saying? So obviously it's not like that, but they find a way. Cooper Kupp, they find a way to put the ball in their hands. Now, and I'm saying that to say this. I saw Bill Murderbrook, shout out to Bill William when he's on YouTube, Bill when he's on Facebook. But he said Dallas Goedert has to be the main focal point in the playoffs. They're going to game plan for Smith. I don't think there's enough tape or where the Eagles have shown that they feed Smith like that to where I think you may be able to get him off in the first playoff game, depending on who the matchup is, because we're so variable with the offense. And like you said, first week, second week, you don't know who you're really going to go to. So you kind of can't really game plan for one actual person. I'm just saying, I feel as if DeVonta Smith, our DeVonta, has a game in him like that. I think he has a game in him like that.
Yeah.
We just have to give him the opportunity. Now, I'm happy as hell. One of the biggest things you talk about the whole season as a whole, I'm glad we made it to the playoffs for a kid like that because guess what? He only knows fucking winning.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Imagine if we would have had the season that we thought that we would have had. I'm not saying he would have took a step back. Not saying he would have worked harder, but he knows this. He's going to want more coming out of the season because he's had a taste of success. Everybody on this team, Landon Dickerson came from Alabama as well, is going to have a taste for success. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's for me personally.
I do expect a big game from DeVonta in the playoffs. I think I always believe he has that ability. I don't think anyone would argue against it. It also just you have to continue to grow that chemistry with him and Hurts has to continue to grow. Like it's right. I'm not gonna tell Sirianni or Hurts to start force feeding him. And I know the one commenter I don't remember who it was, but they say we force feed it to Reagor. I don't think we do. I think that there are some Reagor has a specific role in this offense, and on some plays he is that shallow crosser guy, that jet motion guy. He has a specific role. So if that's where it's designed to go, that it's going to go to him. But sometimes that shallow crosser. Remember, one of Sirianni's philosophies is yak. He wants to get to the ball to his receivers so they can maximize yak. Right. And he designs a bunch of screens. Some of it go to Dallas Goedert. Yeah. And I think there's some that, sometimes DeVonta gets some. But some of them are going to be designed for Jalen Reagor because Jalen Reagor is he has that explosive.
If he does what he's supposed to do, he's fucking explosive.
Yeah. So I don't think I don't think they're force feeding it to him. I think there are some times where he is he's supposed to get the ball because of the design of the play, but it's not force feeding him. I'm pretty sure DeVonta Smith has a ton of targets, way more targets than Jalen Reagor.
Jalen Reagor had 875 yards. He almost has 1,000-yard season. It's not like he's having a bad season.
Reagor has had games where he got one target. So I don't think it's anything to do with force feeding him. You want to be able to get DeVonta Smith the ball, but within the structure of, because remember, we're not going to win games in the playoffs by focusing on the pass first.
Right.
Where we have to run the ball. I'd say it's more important that we have a healthy offensive line and a healthy running back group from Miles Sanders. Hopefully he does come back first game of the playoffs. Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. All four of them, I want all four of them to be healthy along with the offensive line. That's and of course Jalen Hurts. That running game is crucial. That's what's going to win us games. And then if you have Goddard and DeVonta as the counteract to that, as in the passing game, I think that's enough. I think that's completely enough. While everyone else, Quez, Reagor, they all play their certain roles. Ward, they play their certain roles and step up when need to. So, I think DeVonta has a big game in him, but I think that his talent level is as high as some of these big name wide receivers, but he plays on a different team that's run first. So that's unfortunately how it is. That's not going to change this season. But next year, who knows? Maybe next year they expand the passing game. If Hurts gets better, they're able to expand it. The chemistry between him and DeVonta grows, and maybe next year DeVonta has a crazy season. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. His best stat game was the Denver game, and that was probably arguably the best complete secondary that he saw. You know what I mean? So it's there. The plays are there. I think there was a play coming from the Washington game, if I'm not mistaken, where he had beat his man on the outside, and the throw was just a little bit too far up the field. Hurts seen it, and it was open. It was there. You're not going to connect on those plays all the time. You know what I mean? But we run the ball. We need to pass it. I think they're going to be in the game. I'll say this right now. I wanted to make this the poll question when you asked me yesterday. I don't care who do you play next week. The Eagles are going to cover the spread. I'm telling you that right now.
I think so too.
I think in wild card weekend, they're going to cover the spread. I don't give a fuck who the opponent is. Yeah. I do not see this team getting blown out like that.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
But let's take it into the second quarter. Second quarter is brought to you by Body Check Wellness. It's a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using full potential of hemp. The products come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 25% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. So, did things a little bit different. Poll question this week. Usually we lead off with that. As you can see, Chuck just put it up on the screen. Jason Kelce is one of the top 5 greatest Eagles of all time.
This should be interesting.
Bro, I agree, man. Listen, fuck it. I'm going to say it. Like, I almost wanted to put top 3. When you look at it as the position that he plays as a center, but how integral he has been in the 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 10 seasons he's been here, because you always 2 minus 12 minus 3 is 9, but you count the 13. So 10 seasons he's been here. He's been a staple, bro. I mean, the biggest moment outside of winning the Super Bowl and the Philly special is his speech at the parade in the Mummers costume. His speech this past weekend, if you haven't heard that yet, okay. Oh, well, Bill I'm sorry, I kind of looked off. Bill with the heavy hitter comment right there. The first one, he says they're not only going to win the cover, but they're going to win if it's in Tampa Bay. Shit. He's been saying that for weeks. I'm with it, though. I'm with it. But Jason Kelce, man, it's just, like I said, we were talking about the defensive line, the reason why they can't do exotic things. They can't get extravagant. Jason Kelce, with his skill set, and then he makes the offensive line whole. Like, we've lost a lot of different pieces. We lost both guards positions. They've been out. Tackle's been out a little bit. Malata, when he missed the game, Diller had to step in. He is that rock. He is that North Star. And when you have a young quarterback like that and you have a running game, when you're a run-dominant team, he is the one that's setting those lines. He's not only doing it on the field with display as a leader, but in the locker room as an emotional leader. being for that team, hyping them up when they need to, keeping them calm when they need to. And he's just fucking good. He's just, I don't know what it is in the Kelce genes. The Kelces are just fucking good. How this dude was a walk-on, I don't understand. Just 62, man. Like it's fucking going, it's gonna be retired at some point. He's a top 5. I mean, you're gonna say Dawkins, McNabb, Reggie White, put Jerome Brown in there, or you could take him out, God rest his soul, put Chuck in there, Bill Berge, shit like that. You have those, but Jason Kelce is it. I will say this. This is going to really piss some people off. Since Donovan, Jason Kelce is the greatest modern era Eagle in the last 15 years. Outside of Donovan. Who else?
Donovan. You're gonna put him ahead of Brian Dawkins.
What? No, Dawkins was for 15 years. When was that? 7? When did Dawkins leave? Okay, outside of Dawkins and McNabb.
You want to know something that rebuttal to that? I don't think he's better than Dawkins. I think he's better than McNabb.
I was thinking that as I was saying it. I was literally thinking that as I was saying it.
I think he's better than
as I was saying it.
So here's okay. So you agreed to this was your original topic last week. You brought it up late last week, and we're gonna piggyback off and right into it here. But you agreed to the poll. I really had to think about it. I had to do research. I really had to look at it. I'm going to disagree to the poll.
Okay.
I think he just misses it.
Okay.
This is how I ranked the all-time great Eagles. I had Reggie White, Chuck Bednarik, Brian Dawkins, Steve Van Buren. Those are the 4. Those are the top 4.
I've never seen Bednarik or Van Buren play, but I get it. I know how you function. I know how you work.
Obviously I've never seen them play, but like when you look at like the accolades they had and like obviously it's tough to compare eras, but how a person played in their respective era has to count for something. So they were dominant. So those 4, I feel like those are locks at right now. Like those 4 have to be the top 4 in a certain order. So I had those 4, and then so you get to 5. It came close, but I think Tommy McDonald has to be at 5. Tommy McDonald, like he I was looking at his numbers and his accolades, and he dominated too. So I had to put him at 5. And then this is where you get interesting because you mentioned some guys. Obviously, we mentioned McNabb. You get into conversation of like Harold Carmichael, Eric Allen. Obviously Jason Peters is in there. Greg Milakovic also said he's talking about linemen too because he disagrees. He said he put in the modern era Runyon, Trey, Peters, and Lane ranking above Kelce. Here's the thing. This is my response to him. I put Kelce above all of them except for Peters.
Yes. I'm definitely not putting Lane in front of him at all.
Like, I think that, you look at it and I think Peters I think Peters is, I have to rank him higher than Kelce, but I think Kelce, I would put him around 7.
Okay.
I would put him around number 7. So he just misses it. And, you can't go with just this, but, I looked up their accolades and their awards and stuff. So Trey Thomas, 3-time Pro Bowler, never an All-Pro. John Runyon, 1-time Pro Bowler, never an All-Pro. Lane Johnson, 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. Jason Kelce, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. So just going off of that, you give the edge to Kelce. And like what I said to Greg, it's like he's a unicorn. There's no center in the history of the league, and there's no center right now that can do the things that Jason Kelce does. There isn't. What you're able to do, and I'm stuttering because like I have so much to say, but like what you're able to do with Kelce are things that you've seen from Doug Peterson all the way now to Nick Sirianni, and then also with having Jeff Stoutland. Because remember, Jeff Stoutland came over. He stayed from the Chip Kelly era.
Yep.
What they are able to do is insane compared to other running schemes because Kelce is able to get down the field in space on the second and third levels and get blocks on defensive backs down the field. That a center doesn't do that. Like a center's not supposed to be able to do that. And yeah, he's a smaller center, but even though he doesn't have elite play strength, his technique and his leverage is phenomenal. So he's able to compete with bigger and powerful guys. Like he's an absolute unicorn, and it's again, I can't put him above Jason Peters because Jason Peters is surefire Hall of Famer left tackle and one of the best left tackles ever play. Yeah. I just I think if you expand it to top 10 of all time, he's absolute lock for top 10. Absolute lock for top 10. He just misses top 5. Now, let me tweak it. Let me change it up.
Okay.
If you change up the question and say, where is he among the greatest Eagles icons of all time? I say he's number 2. I think Brian Dawkins is the biggest Eagles icon of all time. When you think about Philadelphia Eagles, the first player that comes to mind off of mostly everybody is Brian Dawkins. I think after Dawkins, after what Jason Kelce has done, with this team for this many years, what he did in the Super Bowl, what he did in the parade, everything he's done off the field, on the field, how he's not missed so the amount of games he's played, how everybody loves him. I think he's the number 2 greatest Eagles icon of all time in terms of just players. I would say I put him above. I even put him above in terms of iconic. I would put him above Nick Foles. I would put him above Reggie White. I would put him above Jerome Brown. I put him above all of those guys. I think Kelce is the second person you think of when you think Eagles.
I would probably say he's third. I would say Dawkins, Reggie, Kelce / Foles, because Foles was the quarterback who won the Super Bowl. Probably Donovan. I'm gonna tell you one that probably isn't a lot of people top 10 probably players all time, but icon wise, I had to say fucking Randall. I think Randall's in there as far as the Eagles icon. When you think about who he played, obviously he had his Minnesota stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying this as far as when you say notable Eagles, recognizable Eagles. If you say name me 5 Eagles players off the top of your head, I think Randall may be in there more than some people think. But for me personally, to stick true to your question, I would say Dawkins, Reggie, Kelce, Foles, McNabb. This once again because biggest moments, the biggest time. That's why I would say. Obviously, that's why I would say Foles is in there. But Kelce, obviously, it's just been a model of consistency the whole time. And I know you. I can see you. I'm not even looking at the chat. I can see you responded. I don't know what the fuck Greg is thinking. I don't know where Greg's hate for Kelce is coming from. Why he's trying to undermine this dude when he's built like fucking Kelce in the first place. Dog, like we trying to give Big Boy some love right now. What's he doing?
Well, it's Greg. I love Greg, but you know Greg. You know how Greg is.
He said no center assistant. I can't give a name, but there's been some great centers.
There's been other centers that done what Kelce does. Like I never tell me a center at his size. Well, remember this. Kelce, when we went to the draft, he fell because people are like, no,
he's too small.
You're too small. So one, there's really never been a center as great as him at his size. And two, with his athletic ability in space,
yeah,
I've personally never seen it.
I would say
I've never
seen when it's all said and done, maybe the greatest center of all time.
Wait, what happened?
I said when Kelce is all said and done, I think he may be considered one of the greatest centers of all time.
If one of the greatest centers of all time, yes.
Because, like you said, he can do it in so many different levels, and he did it in so many different schemes. He did it from Chip Kelly wanting to be balls to the wall, running 80 fucking plays a game, to fucking playing with Peterson would kind of give you model both. And now it's a smash mouth football, and he's the smallest dude on the line. Like he's going against the biggest guys, right? And the defensive tackles, and he's the smallest guy, weight wise and stature wise, out of his whole fucking lineman. I mean, it's amazing. Like they said, like Jake Friel said, I've said it in the chat numerous times. Next to that Philly special statue, there should be a Jason Kelce Mummers Parade costume sombrero statue. That's it. It should be there because that speech is more than just related to a Super Bowl, because even to this day, that is the Philly attitude. That is this fan base's attitude. This attitude. No one fucking New York doesn't like us. Chicago doesn't like us. Dallas doesn't fucking like us. LA surely don't like us. Miami don't like us. And guess what? We don't fucking care. We don't care. That's why I can't stand it when we're the favorites. I can't stand it. I don't want to be the favorites. Doubt us. Doubt us all the time. Doubt me, because that's why we need that motivation. Everybody from this area has a little bit of Rocky Balboa in them, where they feel like they're the underdog. And Jason Kelce has been playing with that same chip on his shoulder now for the last 10 years. And he's been doing it at an all-pro level. Mm-hmm. And he's been the first one to tell you, when I'm not playing to my best quality, he's the first one to tell you that. And he's the last one to tell you when he is playing right. He doesn't want the credit for himself. You know what I mean? He lives and dies with his team. So, to me, like I said, the poll question I think is very fitting. I think the chat is kind of 50-50, but I think it's more pro top 5. You know what I mean?
Look who agrees.
Thank you, Brickman.
It is truly.
It's what's going to snow tonight.
When
Brickman agrees sometimes, but for you and him too, well, no, you and him didn't agree because you disagreed to the poll.
I disagree, but I gave context. I said top 7.
Okay,
I said top 7 because he just misses it. But, I'm not on the level. I didn't. Greg is the one that put him really low. He
I don't know. Greg is coming in here like we didn't say Jason Peterson. Like, I know you don't like that.
There's also there's an argument going on in the chat about targets.
Yeah, they're going.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, people argue about targets. Okay, that's good. Keep it going. I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, I think that Kelce's, in terms of fan favorites, has to be up there. But I think Icon, like when you look at Icon, the reason why I say he's number 2 is I know people might scoff at this, but that Super Bowl parade speech does count toward it. Yeah. That you have to consider that when you talk about Icon, like that image of him in the Mummers outfit giving his speech is going to be one of the most memorable and staple. It's going to be immortalized in this city forever. We 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 years from now, when the city of Philadelphia has a ton of people riding around in flying cars and everything like that, there's still going to be an image of Jason Kelce giving that speech at the link.
To me, Jason Kelce is the Chase Utley of the Eagles.
That comparison is lost on me.
Because you're not. But I'm talking about when you talk about Chase Utley, 2008 world fucking champions. 3 words. That's it. That's all he said. Yeah. He said it twice. He mumbled it once, and then he screamed it. What that did for that era of his respective sport and that speech and that time at the mountaintop. But then the difference is he's still playing at that level. Like, if he was to retire now, I don't know where the fuck this offense. I don't know where the offensive line would be at without him.
Yeah.
To me, he's the one piece. Obviously, other pieces hurt, but if you lose that,
it's you can't do nearly as much of the stuff that you've been doing in the run game. You can't. You know how difficult it is for a center in the middle of the offensive line that deals with defensive tackles, how difficult it is to ask him to combo block
Yep.
work up to the second level defender, and then get up to the third level defender. You know show me how many teams are running numerous run plays where the center is pulling, where their center is pulling. That is not common. That is not that's not common. Where you're consistently pulling your center. Not a lot of teams can do that because they don't have a center that can do that. Your center is supposed to be a big, stout, just plugger in the middle of the offensive line. He's supposed to be like the block.
Right.
But you take Kelce is like 3/4 of a size of that block, but he has the speed of an offensive tackle.
And you see other guys have now gotten drafted that mimic Kelce, Creed Humphrey in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I think the kid that we saw catch the immaculate reception Sunday night, Garrett Bradbury, is the center. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? And then I believe Dallas also drafted Tyler Biadasz or some shit like that from West Virginia. Yeah. So these guys now are starting to get on and get run in the league and get looked at and get drafted and create a career based off of Jason Kelce being taken a chance on and going against the grain. You know what I mean? So when you cause a trend and other players similar to yourself come after you, that's when you know you've taken note, like you've been noticed. You've been noticed.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Love Jason Kelce.
Yep.
I hope he if this is his last year, I hope it's not. He's still playing on a high level, but I wish him the best. I hope he stays healthy forever.
Yep.
Forever and ever and ever. So, all right, guys. If you still want to give your opinion to the poll question, is Jason Kelce one of the top 5 greatest Eagles of all time? Make sure you put it. Not only disagree or agree, also put your reasoning in the chat. Definitely put your reasoning in the chat because I disagreed, but I gave my context, so I feel good about it. I love Jason Kelce, but continue to comment. We love the feedback we're getting. We're gonna get to the second half of the show now. The third quarter of the show is brought to you by our doc, Paul Vidal of Specialized Physical Therapy LLC. They've got 2 locations, Burlington and Cherry Hill. Make them yours. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. All right, around the league. So, do you have? I want to do a playoff. I want to do like a playoff predictor. Talk about what teams we feel like are going to make it in. But before we do that, do you have any feedback on games from Week 17?
Listen, I need these games. I don't know, for whatever reason, this one fantasy league I'm in, the fucking championship is this weekend. And it's ESPN, so it's 2 weeks. My team got state bit. Joe Mixon just went down with COVID-19. Just getting everybody out there, be safe, be vigilant. The Arizona Cardinals game, Dallas game, once again, Mike McCarthy at it again. I don't know if we have any Dallas fans in here tonight. In the chat, let us know. But Mike McCarthy's mishandling the timeouts, not having a timeout on the other side of 2 minutes in the fourth quarter to be able to challenge that fumble, because that was a fumble by Chase Edmonds. Just once again, it's leaving your team in a bad position. Now you're looking at 11-5, going 11-6. Possibly now I think Dallas is sitting as the 4th seed now, 3rd seed, 4th seed, something like that. No longer sitting in that 2nd seed spot, which they may need to get a better because the way they're playing right now, Dallas is not trending in the right direction. That game came away from that. Joe Burrow is just fucking hot. Jamar Chase is hot. Baltimore, they need to get back to the drawing board and they need to give Lamar Jackson some more help. And yeah, man, Baker Mayfield, they should have shut him down weeks ago, and should have just played Case Keenum. Get this kid right, because I don't know if Baker can come back from this, to be honest with you, in Cleveland. He has a lot of.
Do you think it was the injury?
I think it's some of the injury, and I think obviously, players of that level, that ilk, those alpha males are going to want to play. But this is where Kevin Stefanski, somebody in the Browns organization, should have said, listen, we're going to shut you down. We're going to play Case Keenum because it's bigger than just this year. And now I think next year is his 5th year, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's due to be a free agent in 2023 offseason, 2022-2023 offseason. So, but yeah, I look at that. I mean, it was good to see Big Ben on Monday night. Like I said, my fantasy, I was going against Deontay Johnson. When I seen this fucker have 8 catches for 30 yards, I'm like, Jesus Christ. 8 catches for 30 yards. But I digress. That was the biggest. That was some of the biggest games. I mean, Sunday night game, obviously Green Bay with his dominance, the connection between DeVonta and Aaron Rodgers. Shocked at the resilience of the Raiders, man. The Raiders, everything they've been, everything about they've been through this year. Losing the whole John Gruden scandal, Henry Ruggs, to now potentially being a winning in game, capping off the season against the Chargers, who's been the fucking epitome of inconsistency this year. But that may not even matter if the Colts can't beat Jacksonville, which, I mean, Jesus, I need Jonathan Taylor to have a 5-touchdown game like he had against Buffalo to win me the chip. I'll tell you that. But it's a lot of different scenarios, man. I said week 17 just showed us a lot. You got to think these teams now, this is uncharted territory for a lot of these teams because this is the first season that you had 17 games. You know what I mean? So what do you prepare with? You're dealing with you're dealing with 17 games and you're dealing with COVID. You see it still biting teams. This Omicron, I said it before, this Decepticon out there, bitch. This, as long as you get a whiff, you may be in trouble. You feel what I'm saying? So man, week 17 was interesting. It wasn't a lot of good quality games, I would say.
Yeah.
Buffalo continues to struggle against teams they should beat, even in ideal Buffalo conditions.
That's why I don't trust Buffalo.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I think they won 32-29 or some shit like that, or 29-25.
It was 29-15.
But it could have been a lot closer than that.
Yeah, because they were struggling for much of the game.
They were struggling for much of the game, and then kind of Atlanta shot themselves in the foot.
I think Allen had didn't he have like 3 picks?
Yeah. But he has to do it all on his own, like Stephon Diggs. Yeah. You got this kid that lives in Buffalo, want to pull out a fucking Lamborghini to drive in the snow. Like, dude, buy yourself a fucking truck. Get something with all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. Jesus, what are you doing? It's not the same magic as it was. You know what I mean? Kansas City, Cincy. Like I said, Burrow is hot right now. Cincinnati is finding a way to win. I didn't watch a lot of that game. So, and that's a game for Kansas City where it's just like, And Tennessee continues to win. And listen,
they got Derrick Henry back.
If them bitches get the number 1 seed and you got to go through Tennessee,
they probably are. I mean, I don't see them losing
because they played Houston this week, right?
I think they
played the Texans in Houston. So you don't even need to play Derrick Henry for this game. You win this game, you got a week off, and then you out of nowhere you got Deontay Foreman and Derrick Henry. You got a 2-head running monster, and they both bruisers. You know what I mean? Just throw them bruisers at you all game. Let me see if you can stop them. Probably won't be able to. Defense, you want to talk? We sit here and talk about Jonathan Gannon, right? Tennessee is one of the epitomes of bend don't break defenses. But they have Kevin Byard. They have somebody on the back end who's in the prime of his career who plays off of instinct. Kevin Byard to them is the Malcolm Jenkins to us. Like if we still have Malcolm Jenkins with this defense, somebody that you could use as a Swiss Army knife, blitz from different spots and different things like that. This defense would be different, but they have that. So you know what I mean? So Tennessee's been treading water this whole time. And who would have thought that game after they beat the Colts for the second time that Derrick Henry goes out and possibly gone for the year, that everybody wrote Tennessee off, that they wouldn't be the number 1 seed. And now they look like they're going to be the number 1 seed. Everything's going to go to Tennessee.
They quietly won games.
And I think I saw a stat where they've beaten 6 of the bets. They've beaten the most playoff teams this year. They've beaten 6 playoff teams that are in right now. Now, this is not even teams that are not in yet. These are 6 playoff teams that have already clinched. They've beaten 6. Yeah. So I said you got teams trending in the right direction. You got teams not trending in the right direction. You know what I mean? Even once again, nobody wants to say it. I think somebody just brought it up. Devin England says LA loves us Eagles fans at LA games. They do because it's fucking LA. It's more shit to do. But speaking of LA, perfect segue with the Rams. They fucking win another ugly one. There's no way in the world Baltimore should have been in that game like that with Tyler Huntley at quarterback when you were clearly the more talented
team. Stafford, man. Matt Stafford.
What do we say? And the thing is, every week, these games get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, taking us in after you wrap up week 17 for you, one of the key games I'm looking for this week is Rams 49ers. Because this is
the game.
Trey Lance is a second start, and you see what he could do off schedule. We talked about it. As soon as he made that pass to Deebo Samuel across the field, Jimmy G can't make that fucking throw. He can't make that throw. So this is what you get. I don't know how good the Rams are when shit goes south. You feel what I'm saying? When shit gets off schedule, when they get mismatched, or the play takes a little bit longer, or you got a QB that can extend the play. That's why Kyler beat him, because he could extend the play. Now you got the same thing with Trey Lance, younger. Obviously, he's going to throw a little bit more at him, but that's a very key game I want to see.
Oh, it absolutely is. Like, so, for week 17, before I get into that, like, it's Trey Lance had his ups and downs. I was watching the QB school with JT O'Sullivan on YouTube. He did a whole 30-minute breakdown on Trey Lance. So it's such a good channel. If you want to learn football, go. He's one of the guys on social media you need to follow. So, like, watch his stuff. But Trey Lance, he had some bad stuff. Mechanically, he's all over the place a little bit. He's definitely not, his decision-making stuff is definitely still not there. He has such a big arm, but still doesn't know how to control it sometimes.
Right.
Like, he doesn't know when to use a touch pass. Not everything should be like a bullet pass. You don't have to, laser beam that thing in there all the time. So he needs to learn how to control, change up his speeds. But there were still other things that he did so well. Well. And this is why, like, I don't. It's tough for me to look back and say it, because we really don't know. So, like, I'm not saying I was completely right, but I still would have wanted Trey Lance to be the starter at the beginning of the season,
because by this time
you have him have that experience. He would have, hopefully, like, ironed out a good amount of it. I'm not saying he would have been perfect. He's still a project. It's going to take a year or two for him to really, like, settle down and learn how, the nuances of the position a bit. But, like, he has so much raw physical ability that as long as you get him comfortable, and get some of those second start, like, you get some of those jitters out of the way by end of the season. If he had been starting at the beginning of the season, maybe like week 3, 4, or 5, right? By now, he'd be playing at a better level.
More understanding. The game would slow down for him.
The Niners would have a ton more of their playbook to be able to use against the playoffs. Like, I don't see the Niners being a legit Super Bowl contender. All right.
Do you see them winning Sunday to get in?
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing.
I do.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Like, I don't see them making it far, but if Trey Lance had started in the beginning of the year, and if somehow they were able to still make it as a wild card, I think their ceiling would have been much higher than where they are at now. Especially if because considering Jimmy G still might be their starter come playoff time. And at this point, if you want to try to win in the playoffs, putting a guy in his, like, fourth, it's going to be his fourth start if he plays in the playoffs. Like, that's asking a lot. So I get if they want to go back to Jimmy G now,
but like, if they get a matchup, but see I'll differ with you there, because if they get a matchup like Dallas with that over aggressive defense against Shanahan and offense, and you got a quarterback that can just roll out and run. Listen, I love Micah Parsons. Don't get me wrong. I love to see that. That's going to be the type of playmaker that you would need more than a statuesque quarterback. That's why Kyler was so effective against him on Sunday. Kyler was able to beat that rush, get out, run a couple times, leave things open. Now they kind of stalled out because they only put up 25 points, but you may need that in the playoff game. Jimmy G's not going to give you that. Jimmy G's
but here's the thing: like, there's more risk with Lance right now because it's only his fourth. It's only going to be. There's more risk, so he's still, like, there's still so many, like, bad negative plays that he had where there's more reward to his good throws, but then if he plays like a team like the Cowboys, he makes one bad decision or 2 or 3, they could be turnovers. Like, Trayvon Diggs will pick them off all day if he force feeds it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's where I'm saying, like, the second reaction plays and playmaking ability would benefit them against a defense like Dallas, but at the same time, it also could bite them in the ass. But had he been starting in the beginning of the year, then it would be a different story. Now you're talking about a guy who is now comfortable and everything has slowed down for him a little bit. Now you're talking about a guy who's playing with more confidence. So I would have wanted to see him, before. But the Niners, like, what also, like, Brandon Ayuk is fucking good. I know we talked about last week. He's freaking good. Man, that one play he had, that long catch and run, so good. Like, I think him and Lance already have a good repertoire. So I do think the Niners, with what they have on the line, will beat the Rams again.
But see, the only thing, where is it at? I think it's in LA.
It is.
I think it's in LA.
In LA. It doesn't bother me though. Like, LA's not like a hotbed of fans, like a Rams.
No,
fan,
but
like,
they'll come out more for the Rams than they will for the Chargers, though. That's the difference.
But yeah, that's true. I still think that the Niners pull it off. Here's the thing: the Niners, they have Elijah Mitchell back; he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That the Niners defensive line is playing out of their minds right now. They are going to out-physical the Rams again. They're going to be a more physical team. They're going to bully them. And, like, with Lance, I think his running ability will be used a good amount. Mm-hmm. So I do think, again, it's going to be a tough game. But it's going
to be a tough one because I can see, because they're two different teams. Obviously, the 49ers are different for who they got a quarterback. What they can do is see he's getting more accustomed to it. But also the Rams are different as well, because the reason why they were in that game Sunday and they were able to win that game as much as Stafford tried to give it away is because now with Sony Michel, they're running the ball more efficiently. They're becoming a more physical run team. So if McVay starts to feel like Stafford is getting that away from him, he can lean on the run, use the defensive line aggressiveness against San Francisco. It's going to be an interesting game. That's the type of moments that you want. You know what I mean? Shout out to Habib Baksh. He says Ayuk and Debo are a great tandem. He also asked us Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts. All day Lamar Jackson. I don't give a fuck. Look, the problems in Baltimore ain't because of Lamar. I'll tell you that right now. It's probably because he can't stay healthy, but it ain't because of Lamar. Listen, I like Jalen Hurts. A lot of good things. His shit ain't elite. Lamar Jackson, speed is elite. It's fucking running back in a quarterback's body. So Bill Middlebrook says since he getting 6.5 against Cleveland, what gives with that lock of the week? I know, like I said, it sucks. Joe Mixon is not playing. It fucking hurts my fantasy championship. Why I'm in the fantasy championship and week 18, beyond me, but I am. Hurts me there. I don't know. I haven't seen anything out of Cincy. If they're not going to play players, I don't know what seed they are right now. I want to say they're probably the third seed, because I think the fourth seed is going to be the AFC East winner, because I think both the Pats and the Patriots, Pats and the Bills are at 10-6, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it up in front of me right now, but I believe they're both at 10-6. So I think Cincy's at 11-5. I know they won 3 in a row.
God, they're at 11-5. Well,
11-5.
No, 10. Oh God. They are at they're 10-6.
Cincy?
Yeah.
They're 10-6. So them, the Patriots, and the Bills are all 10-6.
Yeah.
So I mean,
the Patriots are 10-6. Bills 10-6. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea why they're getting 6.5. If they're still getting 6.5 by the time the show is over with, I'm probably putting money on Cincy. Because Cleveland has nothing to play for.
Yeah.
They have absolutely nothing to play for whatsoever. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I think I'm on the ESPN playoff machine right now. I just ran through, like, a lot of these games they don't mean anything, but I mean, to the pivotal games we've got, like, I think the Bucks are going to beat the Panthers. I think the Cardinals are going to win. I think the Niners are going to win. I think the Chargers are going to win.
Colts, do you think they win to get in?
The Colts? Yeah. I had the Colts winning. So the way I have it,
Mm-hmm.
Like I have obviously Green Bay, then I have Titans as the number 1 seeds. The rest of the AFC, I have KC at the 2nd seed, the Bengals at 3rd seed, Buffalo at the 4th seed, New England at 5th seed, Colts at 6th, and Chargers at 7th. That's interesting because you would have Buffalo and New England in the first round, Cincy at Indy, Indy at Cincy in the first round, and then Chargers at Kansas City in the first round. So those would be really entertaining first round in the AFC. And the NFC, entertaining as well. So I think the Bucks are most likely who we're going to play. I think we're most likely going to play the Bucks. So that's the first matchup.
That's because you're thinking that San Fran is going to beat the Rams to get in.
Yeah, I do think so. So I think that Eagles at Tampa Bay, then you have the Niners at the Cardinals, and then you'd have the Rams at the Cowboys. So these are some really good games, really good matchups. It'd be very, very intriguing. That's how I have it lined up. Now, if I switch that, right? Say I have the Rams win, so I change that game. Now the NFC looks like this. We get the 6th seed. We're still playing Tampa Bay.
If we get the 6th seed, even if we finish with the same record as San Fran?
So we would be at 9. So I have us losing to the Cowboys.
Right. So 9-8. San Fran is 9-8.
San Fran would be out if they lose to the Rams.
So that means the Saints get in, right?
Saints get in. So we play Tampa Bay as the 6th seed in Tampa, but then the Saints at the 7th seed would play the Rams as the 7th and 2nd seeds, and then the Cardinals, the 5th seed, would play the Cowboys. Cowboys would get home field this time. So they had that home field regardless.
They had it Sunday. They're fucking
sorry.
But
yeah, I prefer the matchups if I like the
you prefer the matchup if the Rams win.
If the Niners win, I like the matchup.
So if the Niners win, that means we get at that point we still get Tampa Bay regardless.
If the Niners win, we get but that could change if some of the other games play out. The way I have it played out, it's we play Tampa Bay regardless, but that could change depending on some of the other. I don't know what the outcomes are. So,
I think the tiebreaker goes from head to head to conference record. So that's why the Bucks right now with the Rams, outside of this head to head to conference record, all the Bucks losses came against the NFC. So their conference record is 7-4. The Rams is 8-3. Cardinals 7-4. 49ers is 6-5, and the Eagles record is 7-4. So the 49ers winning and the Eagles are 7-5, so the Eagles are locked into the 7th seed. So that means, so you still get Tampa. So either way, in your scenario, if everything hinges, if everybody wins, that's already in the picture, then that means, well, obviously the Rams can't win because they're playing the 49ers. Everybody but LA wins, you still get Tampa. If everybody that's in still wins, there's a chance you still get Tampa, no matter what. So it looks like, to me, it's looking like it's going to be probably Tampa Bay. Either way, because I don't think there's a way that the Eagles can get knocked out of being the 7th. So, because they could either be 6 or they could be 7. So, I mean, fam, out there, who do you want to see? Do you want to see Tampa Bay first? Because that's the most likely scenario that I'm looking at. Tampa Bay first. Because, like I said, once again, if the Rams end up at 13-4, that means they beat San Fran, knock them out. Saints hop in, and then the Saints themselves, we got the head-to-head against them because the conference record is going to be the same. So we end up being the 6th seed, and then the Saints end up being the 7th seed. So, I mean, for me, Tampa Bay on a Saturday night. It's looking like that could be a game. That could be a game, a low scoring game. Like Middlebrook said, no Godwin, no Brown, no Fournette, half and half, Mike Evans, and all the distractions. Let's take it. So Yeah, fam. I mean, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. AFC playoff picture once again. Looks like you're going to get a Bills Pats matchup again in a wild card round. Split right now, 1-1. I like the Bills in that matchup. But let's get into week 18. I don't even know where we're at as far as who we're going to play, not if we're playing people, because I know we got the COVID bug right now. Does this game mean anything to you on Saturday? Dallas versus the Eagles. I mean, Dallas has everything to play for. The 12-4 to try to improve their seeding, put the pressure on Arizona to kind of win that game against Seattle. Everything to play for. Everything to play for. 1 second here. I'm a fan. So Devin England asks, with the text between AB and Bruce Arians, will he may be back? I don't know. I mean, that was some old Varsity Blues type shit, man. How do y'all feel about that, fam? How do y'all feel about AB and that press release that he did saying that his ankle was messed up? He had to play. They ejected him with that stuff that they did my man from Varsity Blues and told him to get him out there. So pretty much telling me Bruce Arians turned into John Voight from Varsity Blues. I mean, it's not far-fetched for us to see something like that. I think that we criticize AB just because of the stature, not so much of what he's saying. What he's saying could be believable. I mean, I don't think it's too outlandish. But when you hear it coming from AB, it's just kind of it's one of those things like, what do you really see? You know what I mean? Like, how much of this actually carries some credence? How much of this actually carries some weight? Do we really think that that is true? I mean, to leave in the fashion that he did, because I mean, listen, I can't front. When he was taking off his jersey, taking off his gloves, took off his undershirt, and ran off in the sideline through the end zone, the ankle looked pretty good to me. So it's just hard. It's like who's saying who, but you got the power of an NFL team behind you. So that's not something that doesn't shock me too much about AB. But is that something that you feel as if he does come back? I don't know. And then, Bill, maybe you can shine some light. I know you said he was officially released today. Is that something where if he's released today and say they work things out and they bring him back, is that something where he can kind of just suit up right away and wild card weekend? Is that something he can do right away, just to suit up and be available? Like, I'm not sure if there's any rules against that. Does he have to go through any type of protocols? Because remember, I think he's still unvaccinated. So I'm not sure if he officially was released, he's no longer a part of the team. Is there an onboarding process? If they bring him back, does he have to wait a certain amount of time? Things of that nature that could also benefit the Eagles if that's ultimately who they end up playing. I mean, that's kind of a rematch. We already seen them once. Yeah, AB. Oh wow. So you're saying, Bill, he may go to Dallas because they did just lose Michael Gallup, torn ACL for the year. I don't know, man. I don't know, fam. That's that could be a possibility as well. What other games are we looking forward to this weekend? Is anybody laying any money down? I feel like Cincy plus 6.5 against Cleveland is a lot. Colts over Jacksonville is a lot. Not turning into a betting show, but everybody trying to put a little bit of money in their pocket. MVP of the year. Do we think it's Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor? Should it be Aaron Rodgers? Should it be Jonathan Taylor? Should it be Cooper Kupp? Should it be possibly Jamar Chase? I mean, our man had 2 games this year. I think he had 2 games this year over 200 yards in the game, multiple touchdowns. I don't know his complete stat line, but obviously, and then we just saw Justin Jefferson break the record for the most yards through 2 years. I think it was like 2,858, 2,857, if I could be mistaken, give or take a yard. I definitely think Jamar Chase could be knocking that down next year in his second year in the league. Let me know, fam. And then still chime in with also your questions or answers to our poll. Is Jason Kelce a top 5? Agree or disagree? Heavy talk Cowboys right now. I mean, what did we expect? The Cowboys, we expected them at some point during the year. Dallas does it every year. They got hot on that 8-game winning streak, but at some point every year, Dallas seems to underperform and not play up to the potential. And we're seeing it right now. Unfortunately, right now with Dallas underperforming is at the worst time for them because you're heading into the playoffs. And on top of that, you just had an injury with Michael Gallup as well. So it doesn't shock me that Dallas is underperforming. I didn't think they would do it at this time of the year. But listen, less than 48 hours from now, or a little more than 48 hours from now, they'll be tuning right. I mean, because I don't think we're going to play anybody. I don't even know if anything has come out from the Eagles side on what they're doing Saturday. But if anything, I think you only may see them a couple snaps, maybe a series or two for the starters. Because I don't think we're going to have Dallas Goedert. I don't think we're going to have a lot of people on defense, because that's where I think the COVID bug hit the most. But there's no. If the Eagles can maybe jump from the 7 seed to the 5 seed with the win, I can see it. But when you got the 5 seed already sitting at 11 wins, you can't get there. You know what I mean? So there's no skin in the game for the Eagles to try to get up to that 5 seed right now. But I think Bill said it best. He said if we win the game against the Giants, that first game against the Giants, then this game this Saturday would have been for the division. How crazy does that sound?
Yeah. Yeah, that is crazy. That is nuts. I think for Saturday's game, I think it would be the best thing to just I would play the starters for a little bit, because I think you still have to get them in a rhythm. I'll play whoever's available. Play them for a little bit, but like that's it. I would, after like the first quarter, or maybe a little bit more than the first quarter. After that, pull them. You know, you still are able to get their feet wet, get them warmed up. You know, give them a little bit of action, and then save them for the following week. Yeah, I think that would be best. It's just crazy that it can't. We all thought week 18 would mean something.
Right.
But it doesn't. It's crazy how it doesn't. When I first, a couple weeks ago, when I first realized that it may not mean anything, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, that's crazy. Because at full strength, if this game meant something, I'd be a little worried, because Dallas still is the more talented team.
Yeah,
but
it would have been a good measuring test. It would have been a good litmus test.
Yes,
to see what we would have had. But
absolutely.
What can you do?
Yeah. All right, bro. So we're going to wrap it up. We're going to save some stuff for next week.
Yes, sir.
Because next week we still got, we have the Eagles have a game this weekend, but then they don't have a game. Kind of.
It's on the schedule, but
we have a lot of. We're going to save some of the stuff for next week. So we're going to cut this week short. Is there anything else you want to, bring up, address, or touch on before we head out of here?
Nah, man, just for real, everybody be safe. Like I stated, man, this Omicron is no joke. It's moving through people. People popping. You can pop a negative test 2-3 days in a row, and all of a sudden end up being positive. So it's out there, especially with the kids, plus with the stomach bugs. So everybody, just be safe. Take your vitamins, and just be vigilant, man. Just mask up, N95 or else. That's it. Really. That's all I can say.
Yeah, be safe. And just, if you get it, don't be alarmed.
And tell somebody if you got
it. Yeah, don't be scared. Just get better, quarantine, keep others safe, keep yourself safe. Leave it at that. We'll get through this. All right, bro. Well, it was good talking to you on this new year, first show of the new year. Really, really excited that we're in the playoffs. Didn't think
yes, sir.
This was always going to be a big question mark if we were able to get the playoffs. Some people didn't think it was possible, but here we are. So we've got some playoff football to talk about next week. To the fans that tuned in, thank you so much. We appreciate you, as always, every week for giving us that support. We truly, truly appreciate it. We have so much to look forward to this year. So thank you for sticking with us, and we hope that we can continue to give you great content. And remember, Thursdays are now football Thursdays. It's not just Thursday night football, but we've got 2 football shows, not only us, but preceding us, we've got Pro Fan Talk with Marcus Thomas at 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune in. Thursdays are now A2D Radio's Football Thursdays. So for our sponsors, we appreciate all of you, especially Fan Up. Make sure you guys cash in on that, take advantage of that promo. And to everyone else that sponsored us, a big thank you. Enjoy the games this weekend. Go Niners. I really want to see them win and get in. Go Niners. But above all else, Eagles, just stay healthy.
Yes.
Stay healthy. From myself, Chucks, from my boy Pete, God bless everyone, and we'll see you next week. Go Birds, fly Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.